Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Today, we're trying something a little bit different here. This is going to be our first watch party for an NBA game here. We just did start the Los Angeles Clippers at Denver Nuggets game, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be giving my commentary. We'll also be having game audio here, so I'm going to get that started for you right now. You should be able to hear Richard Jefferson here on the call. And now, I'm going to be giving my thoughts kind of as we go here. As I'm watching this game, it'll be kind of interesting to see what the Clippers do. They came off of a nice win against Los Angeles Lakers on opening night. And now we're just going to kind of see the Nuggets obviously had a tough loss to the Sacramento Kings. Kawhi Leonard leaves one short there. Beverly with the offensive board, though. Beverly a bad miss. Okay. So the interesting thing here to watch for me is I'm really looking to see kind of what Ty Lue does with his half-court offense, kind of how he runs it. Batum did get the start again. That was something I was really interested in seeing. He also did start alongside Serge Ibaka. So against a bigger lineup here for the Nuggets with Millsap and Jokic, obviously, I thought maybe Zubac could get a start, but he did stick with Ibaka at the center and Batum at the 4, which is, probably going to be the most consistent lineup we see. I thought Luke Kennard could also possibly insert himself in the lineup at some point here. So that'll be kind of interesting thing for me to watch. The Nuggets starting 5 is pretty clear at this point. It is going to be Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, Nikola Jokic, and Paul Millsap as Jamal Murray gets a steal here and turns it back over to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard defensively is just insane, to be honest. And we got Nicholas Batum from the corner. That's where Batum's really going to live this year. He's going to shoot a lot of corner jumpers, is my assumption in the Clippers offense. And so far at this point, it's been pretty freelance motion for the Clippers. Not really a lot to note. Nikola Jokic gets a slam here on an overcommit by Serge Ibaka out of the post-up. Quite frankly, it's a little interesting. Let me see if I can see the comments here. Yeah, post a comment, whoever's in the chat here. I'd love to see kind of what you're seeing. If you're watching the game or if you're just listening, that would be great. You got a handoff here to Beverly, and now they're going into the triangle here with Kawhi in the elbow. And it results in an air ball miss. See, to me, I don't really like the triangle for the Clippers offense, to be completely honest. I just think that the spacing is a little clunky. I don't think that they're going to get consistent off-ball movement that way. And I'm just not really sure how I feel about that. Jay Stewart, welcome to the chat. He says, sup? It's awesome having you here. Now at this point, the Clippers are going back the other way. We get a Paul George corner spot up, and he hits it off the move. Perfect. Pass from Kawhi Leonard there into the corner. And now at this point, the leading scorer for the Nuggets is Nikola Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. Takes a shot, but is after the whistle. Man, Paul George is so smooth with it. So many people owe him an apology, to be honest. He's one of my favorite players to watch for real, and I don't know. It's just tough for me to kind of hear how the media goes. The game is in Denver, Jay Stewart. It is in Denver. The Clippers are in Denver right now. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Leroy Cortez. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. I did. I didn't get to watch all the games today. Unfortunately, I was at my dad's. Michael Porter Jr. with the tough shot in the corner. That was a really, really tough shot. I was quite surprised by that. No longer Jokic. Except Paul George here. And Porter Jr. gets another slam out in transition. It's 7-6. The Denver Nuggets are up at this point. And let us know in the comments below. We got 3 people viewing right now. Who is your favorite NBA team, and who's your favorite NBA player? All right, Encanto's putting in a stream link. Not sure about that. That's a Discord. Let's hit the mute button here because we don't want commercials. And so far what I'm kind of seeing here is the Clippers are going to be freelance, motion a lot, and then go into the triangle when Kawhi Leonard wants it in the high post, mid-post area. Quite frankly, that's kind of Kawhi's strength, but I think the team could be a little bit better utilizing more pick and roll. I think Luke Kennard is going to be kind of the key player for them, actually. in a lot of different ways, kind of as a ball mover and someone who's going to be able to create and manipulate the pick and roll. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I didn't really like the way that they used him in game one. Like, I liked when he was on the floor, but I just didn't think they used him enough. Quite frankly, I didn't think they put the ball in his hands frequently enough. I think that was a little bit of a problem. And just looking at the Nuggets, Jokic is a beast. He's going to be a problem. He had a triple-double night one, as per usual, with him, essentially. And I just think it's going to be tough for the Clippers to probably match up with them. I think, looking at Serge Ibaka, I think he's definitely a big improvement when it comes to the pick and roll switch game. And just, I don't know, he'll help. I don't really know how I feel about Zubac yet. I think he's going to be a really good backup for them if that's where he kind of stays in that role. But at the same time, I think he's got a lot of different weaknesses, really. So, I don't know. He's got really good hands in the pick and roll. He works well with Kawhi. But I think offensively, he's got some limitations. He doesn't stretch the floor. He's not a consistent post-up guy, back to the basket guy. He's more just a, elbow screen roll guy more than anything. And like, that has some value, don't get me wrong. And I think defensively, he's solid around the rim. Quality rim protector, I guess, something that not a lot of teams have as a backup option. But at the same time, he's really brutal out in space. I think pick and roll, he's drop defender only option. I don't know. I expect Marcus Morris to kind of be a big impact player once he's healthy. He'll probably be who we see starting at the power forward position, which means you're looking at a bench option of you got Lou Williams, Luke Kennard, Nicholas Batum all coming off the bench together with Ivica Zubac. That's one of the best benches in the league, if not the best bench still at this point. Obviously, the Lakers have a really quality bench. They came off a nice win against the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, I am a Dallas Mavericks fan. Quite frankly, the Mavericks haven't looked good the first two games. Jay Stewart, yes, we do NBA mock drafts. I did one just less than a week ago, actually. I believe it was Saturday or Sunday that I put one out. So if you haven't watched that already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you guys aren't, I see that Jay Stewart is subscribed. And I do want you guys to know, too, that we will be doing more NBA mock drafts. I got to get a little bit more film study in on some of the guys. I feel pretty confident about, the top 10, top 15 guys at this point, but I need to get a little bit deeper yet. But quite frankly, I think at this point, I'm doing pretty well on the class at this point in the season. And a lot is subject to change yet. Who knows what we're going to see as the season progresses. Obviously, Kentucky struggled, but perhaps they kind of flipped their season around a little bit and some other things change. We get a moving screen here on Beverly, and we got the game audio back here for you. Kawhi last year averaged 27, 7, and 5. That's two career highs for him, 27 points a game and 5 assists a game, both career highs. For the NBA mocks, too, we did quite a few mocks for this past class. That's kind of what we started our channel on. We're a pretty young channel yet. We just got up to 1,200 subscribers today, so thank you guys if you are subscribed. We really do appreciate the love and support that you guys have given us. We couldn't be with where we're at without you guys. We just got a new microphone for the channel, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better than some of the other videos. Who's my favorite NFL team is what Jay Stewart is asking, and my favorite NFL team is the New York Jets. Obviously, we just won a game against the LA Rams this past week, and I don't get me started on that. I'm not very happy about that whole situation. We're going to lose out on Trevor Lawrence. But thank you for the comments. We do really appreciate that. Paul George just did get a charge here on the offensive end for lowering his shoulder. And now we're seeing the double high post here with Jokic and Millsap, something the Nuggets love to do. And now we're going into the pick and roll game here with Jokic and Murray. Jokic in the mid-range area and throws an absolute beautiful pass to Michael Porter Jr., who misses the layup. At this point, the game is still 7-6. The Nuggets are up. We had a timeout by the Clippers earlier, so now they only have 6 timeouts remaining, and we got Paul George out in space with Nikola Jokic. And then they're actually going to the post-up game here with Serge Ibaka. Good ball movement. Lou Williams leaves it short. And we got a foul on Michael Porter Jr. So kind of Jay Stewart, it is rough. It is not an easy life being a New York Jets fan for sure. And the Mavericks are not looking good at the start of the year. I think we'll kind of rebound. I think we're a top 4 seed in the West, in my opinion, once Kristaps is healthy. If we make it there or not, it's kind of up in the air at this point. We haven't looked great. What a play by Leonard there. Catches an oop from Paul George. And now the Clippers have an 8-7 lead at this point. Quite frankly, looking at kind of what the Mavericks have looked like so far, just didn't really look good against the Suns. It looked kind of sloppy this year. I believe that was Jamal Murray. Yep, it was. Hits a really tough three-pointer there. Quite frankly, wow. But and then like the loss to the Suns was sloppy. His first game of the year, it wasn't really buying too much into it. But I just think the Mavs don't have that creator outside of Luka now without Seth Curry there. Josh Richardson, don't get me wrong, we needed defensive help, but quite frankly, I just think that there's too many holes in his offensive game to really be what we needed. I think a lot of their moves were to open up free agent cap space for Giannis, and obviously that's not going to work out. He did sign his extension. Kind of a tough situation for that, but that's okay. Not everything bounces that way. The Mavs will still have money to go out and maybe pursue a different free agent. Possibly Kawhi Leonard could be a free agent if the Clippers season goes south here. I don't think that's going to be a real possibility, though. I don't think he'll leave the Los Angeles Clippers. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to monitor. I think the Mavs will be a big player in free agency, even if it's an overpay for a third star type guy. At that point, you might as well commit the money. You won't have another opportunity to once Luka gets his super max, or his rookie max extension, rather. Sorry. And now we've got 10-10 Clippers Nuggets here. The Clippers are 3 of 7 from the field, and the Nuggets are 4 of 7. As Jamal Murray misses, Batum turns it over, though, right under the rim, and Michael Porter Jr. with an easy dunk. Let's see. It's 12-10 now. Michael Porter Jr. is the leading scorer for the Nuggets at this point. You're a Cavs fan? Wow. I low-key like the Cavaliers quite a bit. Paul George with a corner three. It's 13-12. Who's your favorite player on the Cavs, Jay Stewart? Who is your favorite player? You are a Cavs fan. Sadly, I'm a Cavs fan. That's funny. Who else is in the chat right now? Comment. Let me know. It might just still be Leroy Cortez. If it is, Merry Christmas again, Leroy. Super glad to have you guys. Merry Christmas to all of our subscribers, anyone who's tuning into this. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas season and happy holidays. And now we're up to 6 viewers in the chat. Please comment in there so I can see who you are. Give you a little quick shout out. As we're watching, we got some commercials back on real quick. It is 12-12, I believe, now at this point of the game. Yeah, to me, I don't know. So the teams I like in the NBA the most are probably the Mavericks. I kind of like the Rockets a little bit because of James Harden. I like watching him play. Ooh, Colin Sexton. Ooh, NK Love. Okay, so Jay Stewart loves Kevin Love and Colin Sexton. That is awesome. Colin Sexton's pretty fun to watch, man. I really like kind of his dynamism. He's really grown as a shooter since he came into the league. I was a little critical of him when I was kind of scouting him coming out of Alabama. I wasn't really sure if I would buy into it. I'm actually from Minnesota myself, so I know Kevin Love quite a bit too. Guy was an absolute beast when he was playing here. Double-double machine. A 20 and 15 type of guy every single night, basically. And his career hasn't really panned out the way many thought it would have. Obviously got his championship in Cleveland. Definitely was worth that transition. And, he's kind of turned into a good mentor. Obviously, he's had some issues with some of those guards there and stuff. But I think all in all, he's a valuable player to have around. And I don't know, Jay, do you want the Cavaliers to trade Kevin Love, or do you want him to stick around as a Cavalier? What do you kind of want for that? To me, I think the Cavaliers should probably hold on to him. I just don't really see that. I don't really see them getting the value for him. And I don't know. It's hard because to probably move him and get an actual asset, you'd probably have to take in a really bad contract or maybe 2 with him. So I don't really know if it's worth that, essentially. I think that the Cavs should probably just look to hold on to him. It's not like you really have a player at that position trying to develop anyway. Yet at this point, obviously, they just added Okoro. I really like Okoro, too. I thought Okoro was the best defensive player in the draft, especially the best perimeter defender. I think that's kind of where the NBA really starts and ends at this point, too. You're looking at guys who can cut off dribble drive penetration, can get in the passing lanes, disrupt plays. He's an effort defender, gets chased down blocks, a guy who really has high-end athleticism, and not a lot of people recognize that. Quite frankly, I think that's one of those things that a lot of people really didn't value enough coming in. I think he was more of a safe pick than a player like LaMelo Ball. I think he was even more of a safe pick than Patrick Williams, who went fourth. A lot of people obviously like his upside. He did score 16 points in his debut. Okay. Jay Stewart says maybe 3 years ago we could have traded him, but not now. That's definitely kind of how I feel too about it. Quite frankly, the value is just not really there. He's older. Jokic with an absolute dime here, though, to Paul Millsap. That was a beautiful pass. Let's get the game volume back on for you guys. That was a wonderful pass from Jokic, a little over the head dump. Now we see Kawhi Leonard out to Lou Williams in that left corner, move into his left. That's 3. You can count on that.
11 of the 12 field goals in this game thus far have been assisted on.
Murray going to work one-on-one with Batum. Murray misses. Kawhi the rebound up to Luke Kennard. And now Kennard's got the ball. This is what I was kind of talking about here. Maneuvers the pick and roll. Oh, Ibaka missed him on the cut, though. Good ball fake from Ibaka. And he hits. Ibaka. Do I know who Jackson Hayes is? Yes, I do. You're talking about the center for the New Orleans Pelicans. I do know who Jackson Hayes is. Do you want my opinion on Jackson Hayes, or are you just kind of curious if I knew who he was? Yeah, Ibaka had a really good year last year. He averaged 15, 8, and 2, I believe. Shot 50% from the field, which is pretty efficient. One of your friend's brother is Jackson Hayes. Oh, really? That's awesome. Your brother, so your friend's brother, so you're basically friends with Jackson Hayes' brother is what I'm getting from that. Is that right? That's awesome, Jay Stewart. Also, welcome to the stream if you guys just did pop in here. R. Vega says, what's up? Not too much. We just got the Nuggets and Clippers game going on here in Denver. The Clippers are up 21-14 at this point, R. Vega. So welcome to the stream. Glad to have you guys in here. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more NBA coverage. We have a whole bunch of NBA videos up on our channel. We do some NBA mock drafts if that's something you're interested in. Also some game analysis, game reviews after games. And we're also going to be looking to do some more of these live streams if you guys are interested with the game audio in here. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys can hear the game audio enough. Or if you guys want me to turn it up a little bit, I can turn it up a little bit more to make it better for you guys. Whatever works the best for you. We got the Clippers at Nuggets. It's 21-16 now. We have 5 people viewing. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. This is our first time really live streaming one of these games like this, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. This is something I'm pretty interested in. We did see Zubats draw a foul there off of a Lou Williams screen pick and roll. Awesome. You're sub for the NFL content. That's perfect. I'm glad to hear that. For those of you guys who are just here for the NBA content, we do post quite a bit of NFL stuff as well. So it's awesome that you have been loving the NFL coverage, R. Vega, but we're super happy to have you here in an NBA stream as well. That's awesome. And right now it's 21-16. Zubats is at the line for the Clippers. The one thing about Zubats coming off the bench that I like is he has really good hands as a roller. So you're looking kind of at that combination of Lou Williams and Zubats now. And what am I using to stream? Joshua Hart Comedy asks. I am using StreamYard to stream right here. You can probably see it in the top right. That is what I'm using to stream currently. It seems pretty nice. There's quite a few different options for it. This is my first time testing it, though, so I'm going to make it work, and maybe we'll be switching things up in the future if I find something that has a little bit better quality. But at this point, it seems pretty good. But back to the Zubats topic there. I think that Zubats is going to be perfect off their bench offensively, kind of, because you're looking at, obviously the departure of Trez. They moved on from him so they could use their mid-level exception on a player like Serge Ibaka, who I think gives them a little bit more versatility. And especially offensively, you get a guy who can stretch the floor as a big. But then Zubats coming off the bench, you still get that role guy, someone that, kind of plays the same way Harold did, less athletic, obviously. But he's really solid around the rim. Standing dunk, he can hit that. He's got a little bit of a right hook, not consistent. But as a role guy, he's going to dive hard. He's going to hit the paint. And Lou Williams is going to elevate his play this year. I really do believe that. I like the pairing of those two off the bench, especially with Luke Kennard, another pick and roll guy. You have a good combination. Luke Kennard does pull up for three there and hits it. I really thought he was an underrated addition, one of the best additions of the offseason. I think not a lot of people really realize how good he was because he was playing in Detroit. Defensively, he's a little so-so. But he's going to make it work. R. Vegas says, yeah, I absolutely love the mock drafts and get excited for them each week. Keep up the great content. That is awesome, R. Vega. For those of you who don't know, we do post mock drafts every single Monday for the NFL. The NBA ones are a little inconsistent at this point just because we're so early on in the season. And I'm still trying to, kind of rack my brain around fits, what players I think are, really worth being lottery selections and so on. Echo, what NBA team are you a fan of? I am a fan of the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, we did lose to Los Angeles Lakers tonight. We did not really look good. Luka did his thing, put up 27, 7, and 9, I believe. But quite frankly, the team needs a little bit of work at this point. We just don't really have a creator outside of Luka. I don't know. The Seth Curry trade for Josh Richardson, I wasn't the biggest fan of. We needed to improve defensively, don't get me wrong. But just, I don't know, it kind of hurts because – yeah, like Josh Hart said here, Mavs look worse this year. And it's just, Kristaps is out, so I don't want to, be too worried about it. Once he's back, we're going to be a better team. But Dwight Powell is absolutely terrible. I can't stress that enough. To me, when I'm looking at NBA centers and kind of the things I need, I really feel like I need a guy who can protect the rim, first of all. That's first and foremost. A guy who can dive hard at the rim, and then also after that, you're looking for, a guy who – has good hands, or a guy who can maybe facilitate as a third option, offensively, or a guy who can stretch the floor. And Dwight Powell doesn't give you any of those things. He doesn't even give you rim protection at this point. He's a really below average playmaker, decision maker for a center. And just quite frankly, he's got a lot of holes in his offensive game. He's, basically a dive man only. That's something that Rick Carlisle is really good at using. That's why the Mavericks also have Maxi Kleber, Willie Cauley-Stein, and that's something that Kristaps Porzingis fits into offensively as well. But the issue with that is those other players, Kleber can step out. Willie Cauley-Stein's even added that into his game this year and is more of a rim protector naturally. And obviously Kristaps is an elite rim protector, an elite three-point shooting big man, and a guy who's really capable in a multitude of spots on the floor. And Dwight Powell, quite frankly, isn't. He's a guy who's going to shoot inside the paint only. He's got a lot of flaws, but, what are you going to do about it? Echo is also a Cavs fan. We have two Cavs fans in here, Jay Stewart and Echo. That's awesome to see. Not every day you get to meet a Cavs fan, so we're really happy to have you guys in here. I don't know if you heard Echo, but I'm really high on Isaac Okoro, the player you took this year. I'm very happy you guys got him. He's a perimeter defender, something you guys really badly needed, and I think he's going to bring a lot of effort to your guys' roster and franchise. That's something I think after LeBron departed, you guys really needed that, and I'm glad you guys got it. Now it's 26-22. Zubats cashes in on 2 free throws for the Clippers, leading 26-22. And now we're seeing Jokic at the high post area. Porter Jr. pulls up in the corner. I did pick him yesterday in the video about the Christmas Day games as the X factor for the Denver Nuggets, and he's come out and really impressed so far. Luke Kennard draws a foul on PJ Dozier up at the top of the key in the pick and roll. Nuggets win tonight by 4, Josh Hart Comedy says. That is very possible at this point. Very close game. I love this matchup. You get to kind of see two different brands of basketball. You get more of that traditional. Well, this matchup kind of reminds me of the Chicago Bulls in the 90s versus the Utah Jazz of the 90s. Not necessarily, the star power level. Obviously, no Michael Jordan on the floor here. but you're looking at a team with a point guard big combo that's really pick and roll heavy, really ISO heavy out of the post, essentially with Jokic being in that Karl Malone role, obviously a way better passer than Malone was, and Stockton obviously a way better passer than Murray was, but you're still getting that, point guard big duo. And for the Clippers, you're getting that kind of superstar duo on the wings, similar to Scottie Pippen, Kawhi, and Michael Jordan. You have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, something I really like watching as well. So this matchup is just a lot of fun. We do have the Clippers on the line again here with Kennard. And now our Vega's asking thoughts on the Warriors. Yeah, I just put a video out on this the other day. I am really skeptical of the Golden State Warriors, to be completely honest. I was a little bit before the season. I had put them as my 8th seed. It's hard to put a Steph Curry team as an 8th seed in the West, but I just had felt that they don't have the half-court offense that they really need. James Wiseman, he's going to be a good piece long-term. I like his potential, but he's just not going to be, a guy that super highly impacts winning yet at this point. They're asking him to be the anchor of that defense. That's tough to do as a rookie. Not a lot of rookies are able to step in and do that. You don't see a lot of rookie starting centers anymore in the NBA, and usually when you do, their team's not that good. And quite frankly, you're looking at Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. Those two players need to step up for this Warriors team. Wiggins needs to be scoring at least 20 points a game on at least 45% from the field to me. He needs to be an efficient scoring option, someone who's a lot more of an actual threat from the outside. And quite frankly, he hasn't been at this point. He's really struggled. Their first game, they were 7 for 28 in the first half. I believe they finished around 13 of 40 that first game. And, Oubre was missing some open shots. I think he was taking smart shots, just wasn't really connecting. But Andrew Wiggins, I really like him actually as a player. I think he has the tools. I've been so, I don't know, I was low on him coming out of the draft when it was him. I thought that he didn't have the whole makeup, and I've so far I've been right about that. But it's just kind of frustrating because the skills are all there. Paul George just hit a beautiful shot out of the mid-range area there. But Josh Hart Comedy is right with their gameplay too. I'm also really critical of Steve Kerr as a coach. I know this might sound crazy. He's a multi-time champion, but he just last year they should have won more than 15 games when they had Draymond and D'Angelo Russell. I know they were injured. Clay and Steph were both out. I get it, but at the same time, they should have been way more competitive than they were. Still with the roster that they had. I don't like Eric Pascal. I think he is one of the most overrated players in the league. I think he's a ball stopper. I think he's a guy who doesn't actually fit next to Steph Curry. I think that they'd be best suited moving him for a three-point shooting wing. And honestly, to me, I think that they should load up their assets and go get James Harden at this point. I'd love to hear you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think about the whole James Harden situation. I think it's quite interesting, kind of what's going on, the breakdown with the Houston Rockets. Obviously, their first game got postponed. Yay says, love the videos. Thoughts on the Houston situation and how they'll do. That's awesome. I didn't even see that comment. I was just about to jump into the Houston situation. I want to hear what you guys will say. So let us know down in the comments below kind of who you're looking at for Houston, what you think will happen with James Harden. So they have brought in Steven Silas, who was a Mavericks assistant. I think he's going to be a phenomenal head coach, actually, when it comes to X's and O's. But so far, to call a spade, he's really struggled with this whole Harden situation. He's put a lot of blame on the star player. That's not something a lot of coaches generally do. He hasn't handled media interviews well. And obviously, Harden hasn't made it easy for him either. I'm not going to cap about that. Harden's made this situation very difficult. He seems to be not really, doing the nice pass by Lou Williams to Terrence Mann there real quick. But quite frankly, I think Houston's in a tough spot. Your star player ass out. They just moved Russell Westbrook for John Wall, something I thought was a good move. They also picked up a future draft asset in that. But now looking back at that, I don't know. If Harden's not going to be committed there, which I think is partially why they made the move that they did, was trying to convince him to be committed. If he's not going to be, you're looking at kind of a tough situation moving forward. But for Harden, I think, he was the perfect player for a Steven Silas offense. I do think that they'll be a playoff team too. Even if they trade Harden, you think it'll be – yeah. And Christian Wood too. I do want to mention that. I had picked Christian Wood as one of the most improved player of the year candidates. I thought it was ridiculous that the Detroit Pistons let him go. Made no sense. They drafted Killian Hayes. They needed a role man. They let him go. To bring in Jeremy Grant on a way worse deal, I really don't understand what Detroit was doing, quite frankly. Christian Wood's a better player than Jeremy Grant. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. With Harden, they're for sure a playoff team. There's no question. It would depend kind of on what their haul is for Harden to see if I still think they're a playoff team in the West. Because if they went to like the Nets and got, Dinwiddie, LeVert, and maybe like a pick or two, I think that's for sure a playoff team. In the West, I think you get that creating option that you need as Paul George misses the shot here that'll basically end the quarter. Let's hit the mute button here and just talk about this Houston situation. But for Houston, I really like the Wood signing. I was really high on him. I also like the Boogie addition. I think that they got the center that they needed. Quite frankly, that you need to have some size in the NBA. Albeit I'm not as high on just center play as others seem to be, but it is still important. You need to be able to rebound. You need to be able to protect the rim. I think that's the biggest thing about size is, NBA offense is so good. You need to have guys who can really contest the perimeter and contest the rim. And if you don't have that, you're going to struggle on a night-to-night basis. And I think that's kind of what the Rockets ran into last year in that Lakers series. Is you're going up against one of the best slashers of all time in LeBron James. You're going up against a really polished offensive slashing big man in Anthony Davis, a guy who has a lot of talent. And they just didn't have the guys at the rim to really challenge those two consistently enough to really force misses. But to me, about Houston with Harden, I think that they should honestly try to trade Harden. I just don't really know where would be the best situation for him. I don't really see a lot of teams that it makes sense to trade for. The Nets have looked phenomenally this year. I've been saying it all offseason that the Nets' greatest strength is their depth. They've got, 7 or 8 guys that are legitimate starting level players in the NBA that not a lot of teams have that really. You're looking at probably them, the Clippers, maybe the Lakers as those 3 teams that have that. And we'd say all 3 of those teams are contenders. I think the Warriors should make a run at James Harden. Like I was just saying, you probably put in that Minnesota pick this year that's top 3 protected. That rolls to an unprotected pick if it doesn't convey this year. Then you look at putting in a player like Kelly Oubre or Andrew Wiggins. If you put in Oubre, you're going to have to add more, probably like Kevon Looney and some other stuff. Wiggins would probably be preferred for both sides. He's an upside guy for the Rockets, and he's an expensive guy that the Warriors could just offload and keep Oubre, keep everyone else around. And I think that really looking at what we've seen with the Warriors so far, that creator that they need, you could get one of the best ones in the league in James Harden. I know the fit's a little blocky once Klay Thompson's back. Maybe you'd have to move Draymond Green to make something work there. But quite frankly, the talent's there. You're looking at the best backcourt in the NBA. If you can pull James Harden, you're looking at 2 top 6, top 7 players in the league. With Curry and Harden, you're looking at a team. They're going to get to the free throw line a lot. They can hit threes. They've got different styles that they can play. You can really run Curry off ball with Harden handling. You can put Harden in the corner while Curry attacks, and you can, do a little bit of both. You can have Curry running off screens with Harden ISOs. There's a whole lot of different scenarios. You can even do unconventional pick and pops probably with Curry with the second big man, screening for Curry's guy off of a screen. That would be something interesting for me to watch. Harden's able to hit a wide variety of passes, so I'd really like that fit in Golden State. That's kind of the 2 teams I see most likely. I don't think Philadelphia will roll the dice this year on it. If they don't win this year and he hasn't been traded yet, I think that they're a destination for him. Daryl Morey would obviously love to have him. You know how Daryl Morey feels about that. But I don't know. The Nets make some sense, but I don't think that they should roll too much of their depth out. I think that that's one of their greatest assets. And I just think that their offensive system would be a little clunky then with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, because Kyrie and Harden play so similarly in terms of what they do with the ball, their ball dominance, their ability to get shots off on their own. KD can go out of the high post, can catch on the wing and go into the triple threat, maybe make a quick jab move. R. Vega is going to head out, but have a great rest of the stream, man. Thank you, R. Vega. Loved having you in here. We're hoping to catch you guys in the next video. R. Vega, it'd be awesome to have you guys on. Make sure to leave comments, too, on our mocks, what you're thinking about them. We're glad you're enjoying them. There'll be plenty more coming out, so you can take it easy, man. But back to the Harden thing real quick. I don't know. It's hard to see really a situation in which that the Warriors aren't going to be I don't think they'd be the best team in the league if they got him, but I think they'd be one of the best teams in the league. I think it'd solidify them into contention. And then once Klay Thompson would be healthy, I think they would be the best roster. Although the fit's a little weird as Paul George knocks down to 3 here. Let's get that game audio back on. I don't know. I love to hear what you guys think about the whole James Harden thing. I do like watching James Harden play. I know a lot of people don't. They think, the free throws. I understand that too. But that is kind of what I like about him is his ability to, play through contact, draw contact, initiate contact. Once you're actually out on the basketball floor and you're playing at game speed, like it's really hard to, willingly go out there and try and draw contact, knowing that you're going to get contact. And that's something he's done so consistently. It shows how ahead of the game he is as Reggie Jackson knocks down a triple here, making it a 41-28 lead for the Los Angeles Clippers. I missed a little bit while we were talking about James Harden. So sorry about that. And we have a Denver Nuggets timeout again real quick. It was excellent ball movement from the Clippers there. Kick to Patrick Patterson and then a swing up to the right wing for Reggie Jackson there. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about James Harden. Let us know. Let me know who you think is going to win the championship this year too. Lions Suck commented, who's your favorite NBA team? My favorite NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks. Tough loss tonight. Tough loss 2 days ago against the Phoenix Suns. But what are you going to do? Started out 0-2. We play the Clippers on Sunday. That'll be another tough game, but I'm looking forward to watching it. It'll be okay. They'll figure it out. Lions Suck who's your favorite team in the NBA? Lions Suck. Obviously, you're an avid Detroit fan, or not Detroit fan. Sorry, an avid football fan. It seems like. I'd love to hear who your favorite team is. Also, let me know what teams you think are in contention. What do you think about the Giannis extension as well? I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. I was kind of surprised, to be honest, that he did sign the extension. He had the option to just do that next offseason. Could have kept his options open, but now he did commit to the Milwaukee Bucks. He will be there for this season and 5 more after it, as long as he doesn't request a trade. We don't talk. He's a Knicks fan. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. Knicks, hey, you got my favorite college player, actually, from the draft. I'm a Dayton Flyers fan when it comes to college basketball. You guys grabbed Obi Toppin, 8th overall. Absolutely love that for you guys. Obi Toppin's kind of a beast. I know he didn't look super great in his opener. I watched quite a bit of that game. He looked a little anxious to me, to be honest. I obviously know his game quite well. He's an athletic freak. But he looked just a little nervous, especially when he had the ball in his hands. He was taking a lot of steps early, and he wasn't really exploding like he can and he's capable of. I think he's going to have to get a little bit bigger yet in an NBA weight room. Hot take, Bills are better than Chiefs. Offense slightly worse, but defense is a lot better. The defense is a lot better. Ooh, that's a good comment there from Lions Suck. Quite frankly, I don't know if I agree necessarily. I think the Chiefs are probably going to win the Super Bowl again this year. But I can definitely see a pathway in which you're correct. I think the Bills are a really good team. Josh Allen has proved a lot of people wrong, including myself. I didn't know if his game would really translate to the NFL. I kind of questioned it. And the first year and a half, I looked pretty correct, actually, on that. But he's really taken strides as a passer. He passes with instincts now. He predicts throws people open. Stephon Diggs has been absolutely phenomenal there in Buffalo. I thought Diggs has been a great player for a long time, but I think Josh Allen's actually helped emerge him a little bit more this year. Obviously a great rack guy, but, just over the top. I think Josh Allen and him are a great pairing. Get the over the top. I think AFC Championship will be Chiefs and Bills, though. For sure it will be. I feel very confidently in that. The Steelers had played a lot of fluff games this year. You look at a team that just really didn't have, the toughest schedule, to be honest, and they've dropped 3 straight now. I think that they're a good team still, but I don't think that they're really a team to watch when it comes to contention, really, for a Super Bowl. Also, looking at other teams like the Miami Dolphins, the Dolphins are a real success story this year. They've come out great. Brian Flores has really got that team playing. But quite frankly, I just think that it's, maybe a year too early. They have 2 first-round picks this year. They're going to come in. They're going to be a much better team even next year yet. And I'm really looking forward to that. We do have the game back here, though, so we will head back to basketball. Yeah. Washington football team and Super Bowl Chiefs. I love that. That would be absolutely awesome if that was the case. That is a funny comment there. It is 41-30 now. Zubats out of the mid post. And Reggie Jackson makes a mistake there, turns the ball over. Did not need to make that play that he just did. On the floor for the Nuggets, we have Monte Morris, Jamal Murray. I believe that's Hernan Gomez, Will Barton. And I'm having trouble recognizing who that is in the corner. For the Clippers, however, though, we have Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Paul George, Ivica Zubats, and Patrick Patterson. Reggie Jackson attacks one-on-one. I really hate the re-signing of him, but Patrick Patterson does hit a three in the corner after the block shot. And we have the Clippers up 44-30 here at this point. Clippers have looked really good this year, guys. Steelers take $41 million cap hit from Ben next year. Yep, that's bad. Knicks coach helps them so much defensively. Yes, they do. I definitely agree with you there. Tom Thibodeau is a defensive-minded coach. Pretty solid schematically. He hasn't coached in the league for a couple of years, so I'm going to have to get a little bit more film on him and kind of what he's doing in New York, as obviously the game changes. Quite a bit of stuff changes. The three-point game's kind of evolved the last few years too, and it's been a while since he coached. Obviously, was with the Minnesota Timberwolves for a while, and then his real success came with the Bulls nearly a decade ago, honestly. We're almost up to a decade ago when Derrick Rose won the MVP, which is kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy how fast the year flies by. But we got Monte Morris at the line here. It's 44-32 now. I think the Knicks, they made a lot of smart moves, I think, this offseason, stuff that gives them long-term cap flexibility. They're quite frankly going to be a team that's not going to, wow people this year, but I think that they've put themselves in positions to take long-term strides. RJ Barrett looked really great the first half of the game in the opener. We got Zubats out of the mid-post here, passing to Reggie Jackson. A swing pass, one more swing pass. Kennard takes Murray off the dribble, dishes to Zubats, who finishes and one at the rim.
Zubac is just so talented. Great hands around the rim. That's a great drive. Close out by Jamal Murray. Kennard draws the defense.
Finishes over Hartenstein, gets the foul as well. Hartenstein is kind of an interesting situation. Obviously, had his stint with the Rockets last year when they were running their 5-out shooting offense, so he didn't really get too much run, kind of like Tyson Chandler. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I think Clippers could win it all if PG-13 is MVP form, including in postseason. I was big on the Clippers last year. I thought that they were the best team in the league, and they got better this offseason, in my opinion. Serge Ibaka was a much needed improvement over Montrezl Harrell on the defensive end of the floor. Gives them a lot more spacing options, and I think Luke Kennard gives them a little bit of a different threat, gives them a left-handed player in their offense, something that's honestly hard to adjust to. A lot of players are more comfortable going right. That's kind of the way defenders naturally move to them. So adding that lefty who can manipulate the pick and roll gives them a little bit more of a half-court scoring offense when their offense is having some issues. Is nice, and he can also just function as a spot-up guy. I think that was a really nice trade for them on draft night to move Landry Shamet for him. He's just a much more well-rounded player. And I think if he hadn't played in Detroit the first 3 or 4 years of his career, people would really be realizing Hartenstein makes a great pass there to Monte Morris, who misses the three, however. Now we got PG attacking. It is 47-36 Los Angeles Clippers. And, the thing about PG, too, I know people love to, joke about his playoffs and all that, but the guy averaged 24 points a game in the playoffs, shooting, I believe, 43%, 44% from the field. Quite frankly, I think that's, good numbers. Most players would dream of putting up 24 a night on 43% shooting. Yeah, he did have some really terrible games. I can't deny that. But he also had a few games that the Clippers really needed where he went 12 for 18, 10 for 16. There was a few nights where he was absolutely on, and that's kind of his game style, to be honest. That's his play style. He's a guy who, since he left the Pacers, just doesn't get to the rim as consistently anymore. I think that's something he needs to alter in his game. I think he needs to attack the rim with more consistency. But at the same time, when his shot's on, he's going to hit. He's going to hit pretty much anything, no matter what. We saw that in the Lakers game. He absolutely was dialed in, hit basically everything he took in that third quarter, scored 15 points that quarter. And when he's on, he's one of the best players in the league still. And defensively, he gives you a lot of versatility as well, switching on screens, gives you some rim protection as well, as we see Kawhi Leonard hit an and one in the mid-range area against Jamal Murray. D-Rose to the Clippers by the deadline. Ass Lions suck. If they had moved on from Lou Williams, I could have seen that. And I don't want to rule it out either, but I think it's more likely to see a team like the Milwaukee Bucks maybe try and make that move, or possibly, maybe the Brooklyn Nets, if they do make a move for James Harden, maybe try and bring in another depth piece to replace some of the depth that they would lose. I could see the Boston Celtics maybe try and swing a move like that, because Jeff Teague, quite frankly, is not going to get the job done as the backup point guard all year. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if D-Rose is going to have much of a market either. I'm trying to think of other teams, maybe the Lakers. The Nuggets with Monte Morris, they're not going to be in the market for a point guard. The Mavericks could use Derrick Rose. I can't lie about that. The Mavericks could use him as a creator for the remainder of this year. He is expiring, though, which also makes it harder to find a real trade package for him. Maybe that's what's going to motivate the Pistons to move him. I don't know if he's going to get moved for a first-round pick this year. I think he's going to be a second-round pick, maybe 2 second-round picks to get a deal done. But, yeah, it's quite – Clippers need starting point guard. You say, yeah, they do. So your idea is basically flip Beverly for Rose and give up maybe a second-round pick or something. I can kind of see that, but at the same time, it feels a little redundant to me, because you're looking at what the Clippers are going to run in their half-court offense is going to be a lot of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George with the ball in their hands, even Nicholas Batum a little bit. Not that Derrick Rose isn't better than Nicholas Batum, he for sure is. And he's a better player than Patrick Beverly, in my opinion, as well, especially offensively. But I think that the Clippers, for their identity purposes, I think it's kind of hard to see that fit into that starting role. Because, you're looking, him and Lou Williams are kind of redundant. They kind of play the same way. I think Lou Williams is actually a better player than Derrick Rose as well when it comes to getting his own shot off consistently, hitting in the mid-range area. And I think as a playmaker, he's for sure a much better passer than Derrick Rose is at this point of their careers. The Clippers are up 53-39 at this point. Let me know down in the comments below your favorite team. Obviously, Lion Suck told me it was the New York Knicks for him, but if someone else is in here that hasn't told me already, I'd love to hear who your favorite team is and kind of what you think about the start of the season so far. It's been a fun start. I definitely missed the NBA, the 71 days we didn't have it, and I'm super happy it's back.
7 minutes to go in the second quarter, and a chance for a couple at the line here.
Also, is the game audio doing all right for you guys? Can you hear it pretty well?
They talk about Denver Nuggets taking that next jump.
Hold that thought, Richard. Josh Allen and the Bills clinched their first AFC East title in 25 years Sunday. Next up, locking up the conference's 2 seed. They look to sweep the Patriots for the first time since the 1999 season. Monday Night Football, Bills, Pats, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
All right, Jamal Murray at the line just hit the first, and now we got him shooting his second. And he misses, rims out. 53-40. Here is the score. Clippers are up. Patrick Beverly walking the ball up, hands it over to Batum, to Reggie Jackson. This is kind of an interesting lineup here for the Clippers, too. We got Beverly, Zubats, Reggie Jackson, Kawhi Leonard, and Nicholas Batum. Obviously, the spacing is a little questionable. Reggie Jackson takes a 3 there, though, and rims out. Michael Porter Jr. with the rebound. Let me check the box score here real quick. We got an over and back call here.
That's going to be the 7th turnover for Denver.
Wow. Was that backcourt? The ball never went up.
Yes, and his court is established in the front court there with possession. So,
Paul George is the leading scorer for the Clippers at 13. Nikola Jokic is the leading scorer for the Nuggets at 10 at this point. Let's go ahead and set that here. Paul George at this point of the game is 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3 with 2 from the stripe. Also has 2 rebounds and 1 assist. Kawhi Leonard doing it all, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists on 3 of 6 from the field. Nicholas Batum also playing really well, has 5 points, 5 rebounds. Kennard also has 8 points in 10 minutes. Like I was saying, I think he's going to be a big part of that roster this year. I think he's going to be a really nice addition, something that went under the radar. Knicks won't win a championship until I'm dead. You know, for your sake, I hope that's not true. Quite frankly, as a Mavericks fan, I'm pretty happy that the Knicks were willing to trade Kristaps Porzingis to us. Let me know what you feel about that whole deal. Obviously, that probably was not fun for you in the moment. Lions suck. That was probably a tough situation that you went through with Kristaps Porzingis' departure. I kind of want to hear from a Knicks fan's perspective what he feels about that whole situation. Obviously, you know, the whole Phil Jackson era was a mess there. The Zen Master really didn't bring a whole lot of Zen to the organization. More drama than anything, and I don't know. The whole thing just didn't really seem to work out. Melo, D. Rose didn't work out there together. Obviously, they tried the triangle offense. Part of the reason why I'm not high on the don't get me started, he says. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Definitely an interesting scenario. I'm sure you are. I just want to know: are you more displeased with the organization, or are you more displeased with Kristaps Porzingis? A little bit of both. What do you kind of think on that? I'd love to hear a little bit of what you feel. I don't want to, open an unhealed wound, but that kind of has been on my mind a little bit, thinking about the Knicks fans, how they feel. Obviously, you got Obi Toppin this year, though, so I think you're starting on the right path. And I also want to hear what you think about Emmanuel Quickly. He's been a pleasant surprise in the preseason. I didn't really catch how well he played that first game. I didn't pay too much attention to him. Wolves had an interesting start to the year. Came a come-from-behind win against the Detroit Pistons. I don't know. I was watching that game, and I don't know. Those two teams are nothing special. The Pistons season is going to be a long season. That's just going to be the truth of the matter. They're not going to be a good team. I really questioned some of their moves. I didn't like the Killian Hayes selection. I think that was going to be one of the worst selections of the draft. Yeah, Lions suck. Does not like ownership, the organization. Quickly looking nice, though. I do agree. He did look really nice. I questioned his shooting, but he looked like he could stroke it in the preseason. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong about him. That was my biggest knock on him in my evaluation. Every year I do a 140-page plus NBA scouting evaluation on the draft prospects, and I thought he was an okay player, but I didn't really see it for him based on the shooting. But he's kind of proven me wrong so far, so hopefully he keeps that up for Knicks fans. Giannis to OKC for 17 first-rounders. Surprisingly, I think that the Milwaukee Bucks probably say no to that trade, and I that would be a really interesting situation, to be honest. But yeah, the Knicks. I don't know. So Dolan's obviously a problem there. I think Leon Rose is going to be a good GM for you guys, though. I think he's going to bring some stability. It seems like that's kind of what the pathway is for you guys at this point. You guys have been calm. You haven't made any quick over your head moves. I thought you guys were for sure going to open the pocket purse for Russell Westbrook. You guys didn't, which I think is probably a good move long term. I think that it wouldn't have really helped your franchise, for the next 5-6 years. It would have helped you guys short term for sure, but I think, maybe a long-term rebuild is the healthy thing to do. Absolutely beautiful pass from Gary Harris off of a cut. Gary Harris cut from the left wing to the right block and then hit a behind-the-back pass to Paul Millsap. Giannis could get $80 million in New York. Yeah, that would be interesting. Will Wizards make the playoffs? Nathan asks. Nathan, thank you for joining the stream. It's your first comment in here, and we love having you. If you guys haven't subscribed already, anyone watching, make sure you do. We'd love to have you. I do think the Wizards will make the playoffs, actually. Russell Westbrook hasn't missed the playoffs, obviously, for a long time. I believe since his first year in the league, actually. And now he's a triple-double machine. It looked so easy for him in their debut game against the Philadelphia 76ers. He looked really nice that game, to be honest. Down the stretch of games, he gets a little wishy-washy. Sometimes the shot selection goes out the window. But him and Bradley Beal, that's a really tough backcourt to deal with. They got a lot of different weapons. Beal kind of complements him in a really good way, I feel. You get that kind of dynamic scoring, shooting threat who can also secondary playmake. And you put him next to Russell Westbrook, who's a primary playmaker who can get to the rim whenever he wants. I think that's a good combination. I'm a little nervous about their defense. To me, yeah, exactly. Yeah. As Lions Suck just said, the Wizards don't have a defense. Davis Bertans was their big, free agency retention this offseason. And he's a really good player. He can shoot the ball. He gives them a little bit of creation ability out on the outside, 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull-ups. And he can shoot with range. He can shoot 25, 26 feet, but he doesn't guard anybody. Russell Westbrook's more of a passing lanes defender. He doesn't actually get down in a stance and defend anyone. Beal doesn't defend anyone. I really like Denny Avdia. He was actually my number 1 player in the class this year. I think that his upside long-term was really good. The Russell Westbrook edition makes me question that a little bit. I thought he was going to, play with the ball in his hands more. I think he's kind of a Luka Doncic type build. He's not going to be Luka Doncic. No one's, that's just not a fair comparison, really. But I think he has some of those similar assets where he can be a really skilled playmaker as a big-bodied player. And at that point, I really liked his upside, but he doesn't, he's a competitive defender, but he's not going to be an elite defender. And Thomas Bryant, I just think they need to upgrade their center position. He's an okay center. I kind of see him the same way I see Ivica Zubac, where he gives you some value, but he just can't be really your starting center on a team that's going to be really good. But I do see them as a playoff team for sure out east. I see them better than the Orlando Magic, although the Magic did look really good in their opener against the Miami Heat. I also see them, better than the Charlotte Hornets. I see them, I think I had them mocked as a 6 or 7 seed in our season predictions. If you guys haven't watched those are up on the channel as well, so go ahead and hit those. LaMelo a bust is what Lions Suck is saying. To me, he's not a bust yet. I wasn't as high on him to begin with. I had him ranked as the 7th best player in the class. He's an elite playmaker. You have to give him that. He's going to be fun to watch in transition. And quite frankly, that's something that the Charlotte Hornets needed. They needed someone who's going to sell tickets and is fun to watch. They need to build a brand there in Charlotte. That's something really valuable to them. And he's going to do that. And right now, the other thing, too, is he's in a tough situation. He's got 2 other guards right next to him. He's got Terry Rozier, who had a career night on the opening night. And he also has Devontae Graham, who's kind of a ball-dominant guard as well. So you're looking at kind of a tough fit for him early on. You thought he'd be a bust all along. And I can see that. Like, that's kind of my perspective on it is I saw him as the 7th best player in the class, but he has the most, brand potential really for selling tickets, selling jerseys, all that stuff, which is really valuable. The NBA is a business. The Hornets are an organization. You have to try and make money. They're going to help him do that. And I like the Gordon Hayward addition there. I think that he's going to be a guy like Lonzo Ball that, it might take him a few years, and I think people just kind of have the ceiling a little bit too high for him. If LaMelo Ball ends up having the same career as Anthony Edwards, they'll call Anthony Edwards like a quality selection, and they'll call LaMelo Ball maybe a bust, to be honest. Like, there's just more expectation on him, even though he went later in the draft, if that makes sense. That's kind of my opinion on it. Looking at Nathan here, he said, how many rings do you think LeBron wins? I think the most 7 or 8. To me, so he's at 4 right now. For those who don't know, he's 4-6 in the finals. I'm a big LeBron fan. I like watching him play. I really like playmakers. If you guys haven't been able to tell quite yet, I like guys who move the rock around, are able to create dribble drive penetration, kick to shooters, make the difficult pass, make skip passes to the opposite side of the floor. I really like that in the player, and LeBron's arguably the best to ever do that. I think he'll probably end up with 5 or 6. I see him winning 1 in the next 2 years. That's kind of my thought on it. Lion Suck says he's got stuff to do. He'll see us later. That's awesome, Lion Suck. Thanks for stopping in the stream. Hope to catch you in the next videos. Make sure to leave comments And don't forget to turn on the notifications too, so you can be the first one in the comment section. We usually do respond to most of our comments as well. So it was awesome having you, and we're looking forward to catching you in the next live stream whenever that is. Luke Kennard here dials up the 3, but leaves it short. 61-46 here is the score for the Clippers and the Nuggets. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Nathan. Just kind of looking at LeBron, I see him getting one of the next 2, and that's where I see him getting 5. And then you're looking maybe down the stretch if the Lakers are able to make another move or 2. That is very possible that he gets to 6. But the NBA is really tough right now. The Brooklyn Nets are looking like a really dangerous team. Even if LeBron doesn't win another title, I don't think that's a failure really for him on his career. And is it possible he wins 7? It is. If he won 3 more in a row here, it would have to be something really close to that. It would have to be at least 2 or 3. All right, Lions Suck has noties on. He's subbed, liked. Awesome. Glad to have you, man. Take it easy. Merry Christmas once again. We're so happy to have you in the stream. And Merry Christmas to all of those watching. Make sure to tell your loved ones you love them. Make sure to wish them a Merry Christmas as well. Don't take family for granted, that's for sure. Detroit Lions Talk with Micro Mike. What's up, Micro Mike? Love having you in here. If you guys haven't already, go check out his channel. Posts awesome Lions content and other NFL content as well. Does some NFL mock drafts. Awesome guy, to be honest, too. Outside of even just his content and everything, a super down-to-earth guy. Someone really love talking to about sports. He's just an awesome dude. So go check out his channel if you haven't already. Let me see if I can pull up the link to his channel as well. Let me go here. Let's see if I can find it now. Let me get his link here. All right, here is his link. There you guys go. Go ahead and subscribe to him if you haven't already. He's a super awesome guy. We've been on a podcast with him before. Merry Christmas to you too, Micro Mike. Super glad to have you in here. Hope you had a wonderful holiday season. Hoping to get on another video with you guys sometime soon. You got a great channel going on. He's definitely been growing a lot too. He's gotten like 3,000 subscribers in the last month or so, it seems like. So he just keeps blowing up. Super happy for him. And we got a commercial here for the game, so I'm going to go ahead and mute. But yeah, super awesome. Love having you in here, Mike. And back to what you were saying, Nathan, about LeBron. 7 or 8. 8 definitely seems high to me. That would be like if everything goes right. 7 seems like, almost everything goes right. I think really 5 or 6 is the more realistic number for him, winning 1 or maybe 2 more in his career. But essentially, you're looking at kind of a tough situation too, with just how tough the NBA is. The Brooklyn Nets, really, really competitive. Kevin Durant's looked phenomenal in his return. Kyrie Irving's fitting right in with that team. They've got all the depth I was talking about earlier. They're just going to be a tough team to rival. The Boston Celtics, who did lose to the Nets today, are going to be a great team. They got that center rotation fixed a little bit with Tristan Thompson in there. I think that they could use a backup guard at this point. Aaron Nesmith also was a DNP in his first game of his career, which I was a little surprised about. I thought they'd give him some run. Looks like they're preferring Grant Williams still at this point. But what are you going to do about that? It's going to be kind of the way Brad Stevens rolls a little bit with his rookies early on, especially when they're not a top 5 selection. We get a nice finish there from Will Barton on the baseline around Kawhi Leonard. It is 65-50 here for the Los Angeles Clippers. And Micro Mike says, yep, anytime you want on. Awesome, Micro Mike. We will be letting you know then sometime. That works for us. Hope you've had a wonderful Christmas as well, like I had said. Luke Kennard saves it here to Batum. Batum spots up in the corner. Misses, but Patrick Patterson on the offensive glass. Misses the layup, but does draw a foul down low on either Paul Millsap or Will Barton. Not sure who the call is. It seems like Millsap's going to get the call. The foul called on him here. And Jokic is incredible to watch. If you guys haven't watched a lot of him yet, I really recommend doing so. He's a real pleasure to watch. Micro Mike, you keeping up with your Detroit Pistons? I'd love to hear if you are or not. Um, or even if you are much of a Pistons fan, I don't even know if you like a different team or not. But I'm just guessing Detroit Pistons. Clippers are up 66-50 now after Patterson puts in the first free throw, and he's shooting the second one here in a second. Nathan says, I feel bad for Steph. I don't really feel bad for him. He's been part of a super team, but I definitely see what you're saying. He's got a tough situation around him right now. He's playing for legacy a little bit. You're looking at a guy who hasn't had a lot of opportunities to really win finals MVPs. He's had opportunities, but the way that they've just kind of crumbled, you look at what the whole situation with what happened when a player like Andre Iguodala wins a Finals MVP. I mean, that was a joke to me. And Steph Curry or Kevin Durant, is just going to win the Finals MVP. He's a guy who their offense kind of ran through out of the high post area. He was just put in a position where he's going to get the ball, and he's a great player, so he's going to perform. Now Steph's playing with Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, James Wiseman. He hasn't had Draymond Green yet this year. I think Draymond's going to be an impactful player for them once he's back into that lineup. But again, you're looking at, really lack of depth for that team. Something I've been critical about since they had gotten Kevin Durant is, at any point that KD leaves, you've sacrificed everything you had built up. Your players like Harrison Barnes, players like Andre Iguodala long term. You just can't afford to bring those guys back based on where the hard cap really sits and where the luxury tax kind of sits at. It gets too expensive for a team that good. So they had to let some players go to make that move. Obviously, it's worth it. They won 2 championships making that move. But, it's just at this point, they've kind of been set up for a little bit of disaster. Klay Thompson being out's really, hurt them. The Clippers do have a 20-point lead now. It's 70-50 at this point of the game. But, the thing about Wiggins and Oubre is they're just so inconsistent on the wing. The Warriors need at least one consistent wing scorer off of Steph Curry, someone who's going to give them 18 to 22 a night, just to keep the defense a little bit more honest and give Curry some room to breathe when he has the ball. Because right now he's just getting doubles every time he's basically near the 3-point line. They're really selling high on every screen option, and it's just going to be a long season. I don't think Steve Kerr is really the best coach in the NBA. I think he struggles a lot actually when he doesn't have a really talented roster. Klay Thompson's injury was devastating for them. You don't get that shooter, the guy who's going to be a floor spacer for them. And just, looking at it, it's just going to be a little tough because there's so much pressure on Steph Curry every possession here now at this point. And he's just, his frame isn't really built for that. We see Paul George manipulating the pick and roll here, hits Luke Kennard out, a little rip through, one dribble pull up. Leaves it long, though. Rebound back to the Clippers, though. Nicholas Batum grabs it, and they will be holding for the second to last shot of the half here. 15 seconds to play in the half. Kawhi Leonard fouled on the floor, and now they will have the last shot of the half here. As that should reach. Actually, they're in the bonus, so he should be going to the stripe here on a Will Barton reach. That is an undisciplined reach from Will Barton. And yeah, so back to Steph. I don't know. It's kind of tough because I see your point about feeling bad for him, but ultimately Warriors management put themselves in a situation where they got so thin that, and then they had to use their trade exception to go all in on getting Kelly Oubre, but I just didn't think that was the right fit either. I thought they needed more of a dynamic creator, someone who can actually get his own shot off consistently in the half court, and they didn't do that. So I'm not really sure. I think there's a chance that they could, kind of turn the ship around. It's early. They haven't had Draymond Green played 2 really good teams in the Nets in the Milwaukee Bucks, so I'm not hitting the panic button yet, but this is kind of what I had seen coming. 8 seconds left here in the half. We got Monte Morris up high. Kicks it to Jokic. Jokic lines up a 3-pointer and hits with 0.4 of a second remaining on the shot clock. It is 72-55, and that will take us into halftime here. At this point of the game, we are looking at Nikola Jokic with 16, 5, and 6 on 4 of 5 from the field. For the Denver Nuggets, he's 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Monte Morris has 11 points off the bench. Those are the 2 leading scorers for the Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. had an early 7. For the Clippers, Paul George is leading the way with 13 points. Also has 2 rebounds, 2 assists on 4 of 7 from the field. Does have 3 turnovers, however, but his plus-minus is positive 14. Kawhi Kawhi Leonard in 18 minutes has 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, doing everything. Also has 3 steals, so he's on a monster pace, honestly. He's looking at possibly a triple-double rate. And also Luke Kennard has 8 points in 13 minutes, and Zubats has 8 points in 12 minutes off the bench. Clippers getting a lot off their bench. Lou Williams has also 3 points rather on the one corner three he had earlier in the game. Micro Mike, if you are in here, let me know who your favorite team is in the NBA. Also, don't forget, guys, that we are doing some NBA mock draft videos. So if that's something you're interested in, we do have one up already on the channel for this next year. It was a way too early mock, obviously subject to change. It was kind of based off my predictions for the standings. That's subject to change as well. A lot of different things can happen as the season goes on. But if that's something you guys are interested in as well, make sure to go do that. We also post a lot of NFL content. So me and my co-owner of the channel, we post quite a bit on there. Something I really enjoy doing as well. We do a lot of NFL mock drafts, also some just normal NFL coverage, also some college football coverage. So if that's something what you guys are interested in, we do have a Heisman video up just yesterday. And again, for those of you watching, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys had a lot of good time with family or friends or whoever you spend it with, because it's a great time of the year. Wonderful season. We're so close to the end of 2020. Super thankful for that. Nathan says he thinks Bol could develop into a scary player. Yeah, Bol, he's got a lot of the different tools that you kind of, could get excited about in an NBA player. For me, I'm a little so-so on him. I really liked him coming out of the draft, but defensively, like he makes, insane defensive plays. He recovers well, but he's not fundamentally there. He's going to be a drop big in the NBA more than likely. He doesn't deal with contact well at this point. He's going to have to bulk up for sure. That's obviously something that's really noticeable, that when you first see him, that jumps off the screen is how thin he is. And he's got touch as a shooter and all that, but he's more like of a, streak player where he impacts the game for 2-3 minutes and then you don't really notice him for a little bit. Obviously, it hasn't gotten a lot of run yet, but I think it's going to be hard for him to really carve out a lot of minutes for the Denver Nuggets too early on. I mean, they have one of the best, if not the best center in the NBA in Nikola Jokic, so it's just kind of hard to see where his minutes are. Maybe this year after Paul Millsap's contract expires, maybe we see a two-center lineup from them with Millsap, Bol. That'd be interesting. Or not Millsap, sorry, Jokic, Bol. That'd be interesting. The one thing I do like with him compared to Jokic even is much more of a consistent rim protector, a guy who actually impacts shots at the rim. That's Jokic's biggest weakness, so maybe the two of them playing together does make some sense. Also, other NBA things I'd love to talk about just now as we're at halftime here is you're looking at, the West is going to be tough this year, but you're looking at a much improved East. I kind of want to know what you guys think about the Eastern Conference, how much improved it is compared to where we were essentially a few years ago. You're looking at the Wizards are much better. The Charlotte Hornets are much improved. The Magic are still very relevant, although Jonathan Isaac is out for the year. The Nets are a better team. Just quite frankly, the whole East is quite a bit stronger outside of maybe the Cavs and the Pistons. Those two teams are not as fluid, but that's kind of how it is. I'd love to know. Just let me know in the comments below what you're going to do. We are going to take a quick break here in a second. Hey there, guys, and welcome back. Let's just taking a quick break here while we're at halftime. At this point, the Clippers are up 72-55 over the Denver Nuggets in Denver tonight. Nikola Jokic on triple-double watch so far as the leading scorer for the Denver Nuggets. Paul George leading the way for the Los Angeles Clippers. And if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new here. We post pretty much daily, and I hope all of you are having a Merry Christmas as well. It is just about 11 o'clock my time here as we are watching this. I hope you guys are doing well, enjoying your Christmas time with family, hopefully, or friends or loved ones. Definitely hoping and wishing for the best for all of you at this point. And let's just talk some normal NBA here at this point. The Lakers looked really good today in their win over the Dallas Mavericks. They have a scary combination now. You got obviously Anthony Davis, LeBron James, the two key pieces off their championship win this past year. And those will be the building block players for them. No question when it comes playoff time, those are going to be the two guys that really have to get going. AD is going to be a quarters 1 through 3 type player, and then LeBron's going to take it over in the fourth. That's something I fully expect to continue happening. But now you have a different collection of pieces. You added Dennis Schroeder to replace that Rajon Rondo role. Maybe you get more of a consistent shooter. Also, we got Mason Host in here. That's the GOAT right there. This is our boy. This is our editor. This guy's the real MVP, to be honest. Also, I want to know if you guys would be interested in a utility gaming channel. Obviously, this is utility sports. Gaming could be the next move, possibly. So let us know in the comments below if that's something that could interest you. Also, go into the description. Make sure to click that TikTok link, that Instagram link, that Twitter link. We also have a merch lineup if that's something you guys are interested in. I would recommend just buying the black ones. So if you're looking, do not buy a white one. We have not optimized it yet for the white ones. But Mason, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you, my guy. This guy's an absolute legend. Miami Heat fan, best editor in the world. This is our boy, also best park player in the world, no question about it. But yeah, just looking back at what the Lakers have, Schroeder's really came in as a nice piece for them, a player that's really going to give them a little bit something different, a guy who can get his own shot off in the pick and roll, something Rondo can do it going to the rim and finishing at the rim, but he doesn't really, pull up too often, maybe occasionally in the mid-range area, but Schroeder gives them that 3-level scoring option with the ball in his hands. And he got a pick and roll partner in Montrezl Harrell, obviously a player who's going to be able to attack the rim off the ball, gives you a little bit of a face-up option when Anthony Davis is off the floor. And just really looking at it, those two players alone are going to be your 3 and 4 pieces. Wesley Matthews, an underrated addition in my opinion. Second straight year of him playing on the minimum. I don't really understand it. He's a quality 3-and-D player, spaces the floor well. You look at players like Jay Crowder getting $9 million a year, Danny Green getting north of $13 million a year. But now at this point, Wesley Matthews, again, playing on a minimum. I think that's a little ridiculous. I think he should be at least a taxpayer mid-level exception type of player. But, we haven't seen that yet to this point. Also, they brought in Marcus Gasol. I think he gives them a little bit of something out of the high post as a passer. Defensively, I don't love it. He really struggles in the pick and roll game. He's kind of like a tree trunk, to be honest, down as a defender in the pick and roll. Doesn't really deal with change of direction too well. Doesn't cut off ball handlers consistently, and has really lost a lot of his rim protection ability as a weak side guy. But, that's okay. He's going to be a guy who comes in, good veteran, going to give them some IQ on the floor at all times, can stretch the floor a little bit as a big. I think that means a lot, honestly, for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now into another game we saw today, the Brooklyn Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics, they're a good team. I just don't know if they have enough to really put themselves into that favorite position out east. Kemba Walker is a good player, not a great player. Jason Tatum's a great player, not a superstar though, if that makes sense. I just think he's not a top 8 or 9 player in the world, and that's kind of what you need to have, in my opinion. Obviously, Jimmy Butler did just carry the Heat to the finals, but that's more of a rarity in today's league. Unfortunately, we don't see that very often. You're looking at the Celtics. Jaylen Brown's a nice piece, but I think that they're missing a little bit of depth. Marcus Smart and Daniel Tice off the bench is a pretty good duo. Obviously, Tristan Thompson could be coming off the bench for them. Who knows really who's going to end up winning that starting job long-term at center. But You're looking at two solid bench pieces. I think that they could use a third scoring option off the bench. A guy, oddly enough, they're going to miss Gordon Hayward a little bit, I feel. Obviously, he's in Charlotte now. Brooklyn Nets, however, have looked absolutely great. I wasn't sure what we were going to expect from them. They've won their first 2 games by an average of 27 points. That's the first time ever for a rookie head coach. For Steve Nash, they've looked absolutely great. That offense is fluid. That's something we could have expected from them. Steve Nash is a basketball genius, a basketball wizard. Definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to X's and O's. And he's got the Nets clicking. Kyrie Irving looks great. Looks like he's in rhythm. Kevin Durant looks like he's in rhythm. Lost a little bit of explosion off of his right foot, in my opinion, but the left foot explosion's still there. The guy's great in traffic, as per usual, shooting and in the lane finishing. He's a creative finisher below the rim. He's a powerful finisher above the rim when he's given the space. And if he's given any space on the perimeter, you can either book it for 2 or 3, depending on where you're shooting from. One of the best pull-up shooters we've ever seen in this game of basketball. And quite frankly, he's going to be a problem again this year. And they've also got all the depth in the world. They got maybe the deepest team in the league. Them or the Clippers, in my opinion. And just they're going to be a good team to watch moving forward. I think that they should be considered the favorite to come out the East. Milwaukee versus Golden State today. Milwaukee's legit. They got 3 really great players in Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton. Those are 3 really great players. We do need more people on here. Throw it on your guys' stories if you haven't already. Get some more people in here. Tell us about your friends. That would be awesome. We'd love to have more of you guys watching. We're so thankful. We just hit 1,200 subscribers today. Couldn't be possible without our awesome subs. We honestly owe you guys the world. You mean so much to us, and we're so happy to have you guys. We're just trying to continue growing, putting out the best content. You can probably notice the mic quality is a little bit better here as Kawhi Leonard opens the second half with a bucket in the mid-range game. That is like a layup to him. All right, let's change our banner here. Leading scorer for the Clippers is now Kawhi Leonard. And now we got Jokic out of the mid-post. And we got an out of bounds. It'll stay Denver Nuggets ball here. Inbound from the baseline here for them. But yeah, back to what I was saying about the Bucks. You got that solid big 3. I don't know if it'll be enough come playoff time, though, to deal with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and all that depth. But I guess that's, we'll see that play out. We'll see kind of what that looks like. We haven't seen the Bucks play the Nets yet. That's something I'm really excited for. That's going to be the marquee matchup, honestly, to watch in the East, I feel. Looking at the Golden State Warriors, it's going to be a tough road for Steph Curry. Too much pressure on him. He's got a lot of, needs in the half-court offense. Jokic puts up a miss there, but Jamal Murray chases. Kawhi Leonard with the block. And now it is 74-55. The Clippers are up, by the way. But looking at the Warriors, just too much half-court pressure on Steph Curry. Kelly Oubre has been inconsistent. Andrew Wiggins is known for his inconsistencies. James Wiseman has looked nice, but he's still young. He's not going to be a guy you can really count on night to night yet at this point offensively. And I think defensively, there's a little bit too much pressure on him. We haven't seen Draymond Green with that lineup, though, so he'll help a little bit, give them another playmaker in that offense. But again, he's not a guy who's going to really set up his own shot. I think they badly need that. We see Jamal Murray miss one out of bounds here. And just now moving into the first game of the day, we saw the Miami Heat defeat the New Orleans Pelicans. Eric Spoelstra goes to 8-0 on Christmas Day games in his coaching career. Obviously, the best record of all time on Christmas Day games is that he has the most Christmas Day game wins as a head coach. And quite frankly, they looked really good today. The Heat did. But also, in his first game on Christmas Day, Zion Williamson showed out. I believe he had 32 and 14. Guy's an absolute beast. Athletically, it's hard to contend with him. I think he's still got to pick up a little bit more skill. I think he's going to see some of those wall defenses when it comes to playoff time for him, something we see with Giannis. But he's got a lot to work with. If he can, bolster that jumper just a little bit, and not even just, I'm not talking catch and shoot threes. I'm not talking sit there, click your heels and shoot. I'm talking maybe, little quick one dribble pull-ups in transition. I think that's really what he should be repping day in, day out, because if he added that to his game where he can be coming north-south at you and just pull up and shoot, That's going to be unguardable. You don't even have to be a standstill guy. That doesn't matter. You need to be a guy who can hit off the bounce just a little bit, keeps the defense honest. Jamal Murray pulls off a wicked move there, leaves it short, though. Batum did get left way behind. Kawhi Leonard pushes in transition and sends one way out of bounds. Patrick Patterson did not get to the corner in time. We got 4 people in here. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite team is, who you think is going to win the championship this year. We'd love to hear kind of who you think. To me, it's between the Lakers or Clippers probably. I think the Nets are a real dangerous team, but I think come playoff time, they'll have some issues. Jokic mails one at the rim, misses a wide open layup. Paul George pushes in transition here. Pull up 3 from PG, left a little short though. 76-55, 21-point lead for the Clippers here at this point. Can you guys hear the game audio? Is the game audio loud enough for you guys? Gary Harris with another beautiful pass. Michael Porter Jr. puts in his 8th, 9th, and 10th points of the game here on a triple, and that lead is now down to 18 points. Kawhi Leonard rises up and hits the 3 back on the other end, back to a 21-point game. Kawhi's doing it all for the Los Angeles Clippers. He has 17. 6 of 10 from the field, 5 points or 5 rebounds, 5 assists rather. PG over closes out. And a beautiful finish from Gary Harris. Gary Harris has looked very nice this game. Obviously, some of his inconsistent play is the problem with him, but Mason says Mavs got the chip on lock especially after their great performances last 2 games. Yeah, don't get me started on that. As a Mavericks fan, I am not feeling the greatest about the Mavericks at this point. Obviously, no Kristaps Porzingis. That is a big reason why, but it's just not been a good start to the season. You know, Luka Doncic looks a little bit out of shape. I'm not going to lie. Just looks a little winded when it comes down to the end of the games. Defensively, he hasn't been great this year. And we're missing Seth Curry a lot, I think. I think our shooting's not really what it was last year, really. Maxi Kleba hasn't been shooting the ball well since he got to the bubble and left it. Dwight Powell really struggles, quite frankly, in all areas of basketball. Now at this point, no other way to really put it. To me, that's just kind of the truth. As unfortunate as it is, that's kind of what the case is. Michael Porter Jr. throws up an air ball here, though. 79-60 here for the Los Angeles Clippers.
If you want to be a superstar in this league, it is about doing it every single day.
Jamal Murray tonight, 1 for 7. In his first game of the year was 1 for 9. Obviously, many people were picking him for most improved player of the year. I did not see that. Has not looked good at the start of the season here. 2 for 16 in his first 16 shots of the season. Jokic with the board here, though, and we'll push it up. Zubac's on him here. Little screen. Zubac sinks. Comes back up.
Trying to work the game with Jokic. 3 to shoot. Jokic draws 2.
Patrick Beverley bails out Nikola Jokic there. Gets a bad foul out in space with half a second left on the shot clock on a shot attempt here. Zubac had cut him off too. It was perfect defense, and Beverley gets him on the wrist. That is a good call there in my estimation. Kawhi Leonard with 17, 5, and 5. Like I had said, 3 steals and a block. He's doing it all tonight. One of the best players in the league, if not the best player. Him and LeBron James are probably top 2 in my opinion. Nikola Jokic does miss the first free throw, and Lou Williams checks into the game. Nick Batum is also still in the game. We got PG on the floor for the Clippers, along with Zubac and Paul George. This is maybe one of the better lineups the Clippers will run this year. You get Lou Williams as their point guard, essentially, in this lineup. Nick Batum playing the 4. You have a whole wide range of creators, versatile players. PG sets a down screen, gets the ball. One-on-one against Gary Harris here. They go into the triangle. Kawhi Leonard with the entry reception, and Paul Millsap pokes it out of bounds.
It was actually given to Ibaka, and it was his 4. So you have Ibaka and Beverly now with 4 fouls. So the Clippers in some foul trouble here with a lot of real estate left to cover.
PG turns it over.
Millsap. Harris scoops it up, gets fouled, hooks it up and nearly floated it in. That was just the third team foul against the Clippers. If they call that foul on the floor, it'll be a side out of bounds. And they do. So a side out for Denver, trying to create a little momentum, get back in this game with the Clippers up.
Got Jamal Murray working the pick and roll.
Here is Murray.
Beats Batum with the ball fake and gets the easy layup. 16-point game now. Do we see another Clippers meltdown here in the third quarter against the Denver Nuggets roster? Possibly. Could be on the docket here. 21-point lead down to 16 here at this point.
The fighting spirit is one we all share. Amanda Nunes wears hers with pride. From standing up for herself against the doubters, to being the only woman in her MMA training gym. Amanda refused to let stereotypes get in her way. Whether inside the octagon or out. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you're made of. Modelo, the official beer of UFC.
Share the joy this holiday with a Whopper and the 2 for.
All right. Anyone got any questions for the chat? Other storylines to follow. I mean, rookie debuts were kind of interesting. Anthony Edwards looked really good. I had picked him to be the rookie of the year. I think he's going to score about 16, 17 points a game. He did score 16 in his debut for the Minnesota Timberwolves in their win over the Detroit Pistons. They look pretty good. I can't lie. They did look pretty polished. Not necessarily the Wolves overall, but some of the rookies. Edwards looked nice. Karl Anthony Towns looked really, really nice in his first game since losing his mom. Really sad story there, obviously. Wish the best for him. And also a Merry Christmas to everyone right now. Make sure to celebrate your time with loved ones. And like looking at some other rookies around the league, Obi Toppin was a little shaky in his debut, but I think he's got really good potential. LaMelo Ball, really, really shaky. Did not score in his debut. Did have 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and I believe 4 turnovers. And went 0 for 5 from the field. Not really the greatest of starts to an NBA career, but I think he can turn it around. He's a guy with a lot of different assets. He's a big point guard. Phenomenal vision, best passing vision we've seen in the class for a while, maybe since Luka Doncic. So I think that's going to be his greatest asset moving forward. I'm not ready to really write off the ship on him yet. I think he's just got to be a little bit more dynamic in the half court. I think he's got to grow as a decision maker when it comes to shooting his own shot. I think he's got to improve in that area, but that's something that's very easy to do. It's not like he's really missing out on talent. He's just, some of the decision making just has to improve. That's okay. That's something you can teach. Going into James Wiseman, Wiseman's looked very good. I think that he's a player that, although he's not going to be a guy that, is going to be dominant early on, I think he's got the most room to grow at this point. He's going to be a screen-heavy center. They've given him some opportunities to shoot mid-range area. He's even shot a couple threes, which is something I want to see. I'm going to welcome that. We do have the game back on here, though, so let's focus back on this. Lou Williams in the pick and roll pushes it down to Paul George in the mid-post. Wonderful pass to Zubats in the high-low game. Zubats with a finish, 81-63. The Clippers are up at this point. Kawhi Leonard is still the leading scorer with 17 for the Clippers. Jamal Murray beats Paul George off the dribble, though, and gets it right back. 16-point game yet again. PG for 3. Looking very nice there. Paul George has had a really wonderful start to the season, guys. And if you guys were one of the ones clowning him in the offseason, I'm just going to warn you now, he's back. Looks really, really good. As we get a Kawhi Leonard foul on and over the back on Paul Millsap.
it is kind of cool to be able to hear a lot of like the
Oh, man. I don't know. Paul George has looked really, really smooth. Again, he's a guy, like, he still averaged 24 a night in the playoffs on 44% shooting, I believe, 43% shooting. That's not, people were clowning him, but that's really not brutal. He had some really, really terrible performances, like 2 for 11, 2 for 13 type games. Yeah, I get it. Those are inexcusable, sure. But he also had some really remarkable games, 12 for 18, 10 for 16 a couple times, I'm pretty sure. He had a 30-plus point game against the Denver Nuggets in Game 3 of that series. That was a pivotal game in establishing the lead that they ultimately ended up blowing. But Paul George here working the pick and roll. Ooh, Nicholas Batum kind of fumbled the pass, but he got it back out to Lou Williams. Lou Williams dances on Michael Porter Jr. Zubac cannot handle the high pass, though, from Lou Williams. Not the most accurate of passes here. We get a transition foul by Kawhi Leonard. Smart foul to stop the break. I don't know, just going back into that Clippers-Nuggets series we saw last year, too, I think a lot of that, people are kind of freaking out with Paul George about blaming Doc Rivers. That's kind of what my initial thoughts were in that series, though. You looked at basically the last 3 games of that series, they struggled with the exact same thing. The Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic pick and pop game. And I get it. That's something tough to deal with. You have a really quality scoring guard in Jamal Murray and a really dynamic big man in Nikola Jokic, a guy who can hurt you with the pass, hurt you with the shot, hurt you with the ball fake. He can do a lot of different things. So I get that that's going to be tough, but they didn't really make any adjustments. They continued to drop Zubac way down, put him back in the paint, put his hands up, and that pop was wide open. He was putting too much pressure on his guards defensively and his wings defensively, dealing with Jamal Murray. I just don't think he put his players in the best situation to win that game in the best scenarios. The game plan wasn't correct, in my opinion. I think Serge Ibaka is going to be a big addition for them in dealing with pick and pops this year. Gives them a little bit more of a versatile mobile wing out on the perimeter to deal with some of that situational defense. As we see Kawhi Leonard here beat Michael Porter Jr. off the dribble, but does not finish on the layup. Millsap on the other end, cans a 15-point game now as the Nuggets pull within 15, 84-69 here. Clippers up. PG, ball gets tipped into the backcourt, goes back and chases it. But going back to that series again, the Clippers came out dominated early in all those games and they just didn't have the gas, didn't have the legs as Batum drills a corner 3. Beautiful pass from Paul George. 18-point game yet again. Nuggets keep chiseling it, and then Clippers keep building back up to it. Kind of back and forth here this quarter. Here in the third, we got 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Jamal Murray out of the pick and roll. Paul George with a wonderful cutoff. Wonderful defense from Paul George. Bad miss from Jamal Murray. And the Clippers are attacking back on the other end. Zubac.
And a foul called against Millsap, who thought he got it cleanly.
What did I say about Paul 5 minutes ago? What did I say about Paul 5 minutes ago?
Not even get that cleanly, Richard.
No, Paul's a hack. He fouled every time down the court and has never fouled a person ever in his career.
Not everybody in the audience knows your sarcasm, Richard.
That's their fault. They'll get used to it.
Sports fans, gear up at NBAstore.com with officially licensed fan gear for every team and all the players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience.
Zubac hits the first and the second.
Zubac drills both here. So he was sent to the free throw line, 88-69 now at this point.
For 24 from the line in this game. Zubac 8 of 11 from the line.
Jokic with a strong move, spin move. Gets an and one call here. Zubac probably charged with the foul, is my opinion. Based on what I saw, Kawhi Leonard was also in the area, however.
Unorthodox game. Look, you're running a 1-5 pin down.
Foul should probably go on Kawhi Leonard is my assumption, actually, after seeing it again.
Does he take off? Does he jump? No, he does not jump and gets that off. It's just a very, very unorthodox, hard to guard.
Kind of tough to see there, but Jokic does finish the three-point play, 16-point game yet again. He has 28 and 9 at this point. Triple-double watch for Nikola Jokic. did have a triple-double in their opener loss against the Sacramento Kings. And now at this point is right around that triple-double number yet again. Whoever's in the comments, let me know who your favorite NBA team is. We'd love to hear from you. Also, let me know what other sports you love to watch. It'd be great hearing from you. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and have the notifications on for Utility Sports. And start commenting first on all of our videos if you're the first one in there. We'd love to see that. Clippers inbound here, side out to Ivica Zubac. Kawhi Leonard kicks it around to Batum. Batum, no hesitation. Three-pointer is good. 19-point game yet again for the Clippers, who continue to build up that lead. Got 2 people watching. Welcome to the stream, guys. Luke Kennard on the floor. Clippers are running a lineup with Kennard, Kawhi, Batum, Pat Bev, and Ivica Zubac. Not Patrick Beverley. Lou Williams is on the floor. And the Nuggets on the other end are running Will Barton, Nikola Jokic, Monte Morris, Jamal Murray, and looks like PJ Dozier there. And we get an offensive foul call on Kawhi Leonard. Not the best stretch of Kawhi Leonard's season so far for him. A bad foul over on one end on Nikola Jokic. A turnover here now. Clippers have 15 turnovers at this point. The Denver Nuggets have 9. But the Clippers are outshooting them at this point of the game.
15 for 29. You're not going to win too many games if your opponent is shooting that many threes and at that percentage.
Nikola Jokic lines up a 3, does not actually. Spin move. Great defense from Ivica Zubac. Stays straight up the entire time. Second quarter, the Clippers did put up 40 points, are outscoring them 19-17 here at this point. The Clippers are shooting 56% from the field, whereas the Denver Nuggets are shooting 44% at this point. Lou Williams, a pull-up going right is good. 21-point lead yet again. That is the high of the game. Clippers have been hovering right around that area. They've shot 24 free throws to the Nuggets 27. The Clippers shooting an insane 15 of 29 from 3. That is 52%, whereas the Nuggets are 6 of 24, 1 out of every 4 at 25%. Jamal Murray hits a nice 2-point shot, though, here. He has 10 points now in the game, 4 of 11 from the field. Lou Williams going left, and we got a moving screen on Ivica Zubac. Not really sure about that. Looked like he was rolling, and they called that on his roll. That's kind of a tough call. Not something you usually deal with, but that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's go ahead and switch this.
16 turnover from the Clippers. They do have a 19-point lead.
And we have a timeout here. We will be taking a short intermission break. So make sure you guys stay tuned here. We will be back in just under a minute. All right, and we're back. Just about to be coming back to the game here. We just had a timeout for the Denver Nuggets. Nicholas Batum is on double-double watch with 13 and 9 at this point of the game. Has played really well at this point. He's hit 5 of his 7 attempts from the field. Shot very well from 3, and we have Jamal Murray advancing the ball here with P.J. Dozier on the floor, as well as Monte Morris, Will Barton, and Nikola Jokic for the Denver Nuggets. Jokic does line up the triple there from a Jamal Murray pass. Does not go in, though, as it hits front of the rim. And Clippers bring the ball back with Lou Williams, Batum, Luke Kennard, Paul George, and Ivica Zubac on the floor at this point. PG runs off the screen, kicks it to Lou Williams, sizes up, attacks left. Tough shot, does not get it to fall, however, and the Nuggets are bringing it back the other way. Basketball for life. Basketball is life for M. Thanks for this. Thanks for the stream. Also, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you all have had a blessed Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are really enjoying the stream. Glad to have you in here. Means a lot. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you have. Really appreciate each and every one of you. We just hit 1,200 subscribers today, and we're continuing to go. So we'd love to have you guys a part of it as we continue to grow. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Paul George attacks north and south, gets right into Nikola Jokic and finishes the tough layup. Probably should have been an and one there. Went uncalled. 21-point lead now for the LA Clippers. Zubac with the chase down block. Luke Kennard bringing the ball back. It's a 2-on-2, him and PG. They decide to slow the game down. Probably the smart decision here. Batum now at the top of the key. They find Paul George. This seems to be his time of the game here, end of the third quarter. Ty Lue's rotations. This is the important thing to be noting here at this point. And PG hits a step-back 3 from the right wing, right corner area, right above the break. He has 21 now on 7 of 12 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. Absolutely another wonderful performance from Paul George. He is now the leading scorer for the Los Angeles Clippers this game. And he's been honestly been a flamethrower from 3 to start the season here. Really been fun to watch him. He's come out on a mission. Had 33 in the opener. Has 21 here tonight against the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray is the GOAT, says Hayden Prill. Probably not the actual GOAT, but I definitely get the energy here. Love to see it from you. Thanks for coming into the comments section. We love having you in here, Hayden. And glad you're enjoying the content. Oh, man. Okay, if you guys, and those of you in the comments, would you rather be the Denver Nuggets moving forward or the Los Angeles Clippers moving forward? Give me your reasoning. Let me know why you think that. We'd love to hear some of your guys' perspectives. To me, I'd rather be the Los Angeles Clippers. You have the more consistent player in Kawhi Leonard. I think Paul George is a better number 2 player. But either way, been a lot of fun to watch this matchup here. It was a lot of fun to watch them in the playoffs last year, and we're going to see maybe we get a playoff rematch this year as well. It would be awesome to see. Obviously, early on in the season, 2 games in already of the 72. We're looking at 3% in as Jamal Murray here is bringing up the ball now. We are back. 98-74, 24-point lead is the biggest of the game for the Los Angeles Clippers. We got a foul here on Zubac. Will Barton will be shooting 2 free throws here. And we'll have 1 minute and 4 seconds here left in the third quarter. We'll see if Paul George gets a little bit more run here before the end of the quarter. Maybe give out a few more buckets. The Clippers are 2 points away from the century mark here in this one through 3 quarters. Merry Christmas to anyone who hasn't heard it already. Hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas. We have 27 minutes left on Christmas here my time. Been a wonderful day for me. Got to spend some time with family. A lot of fun. Opened a few different gifts. Had a good time with that. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful time as well. Barton puts the second one in here. 98-75 now, a 23-point game as Lou Williams brings the ball up here. And it does look like they're going to PG here in the high post. He's right now out at the right wing now. Going back to the post area against Murray. Kicks it to Kennard. Kennard hops into a shot. Does miss right, though. And the Nuggets are on the counterattack here, 98-75. Barton, good hesitation move. Does not get it to go. But Jokic, not Jokic, rather, Isaiah Hartenstein gets a double tap in, and Will Barton with a strip, and that might be a clear path foul as well. We will see here. Ivica Zubac tripped him up after the strip. We will see.
I can see how that's confusing. They both jumped about 6 inches. Ooh, good steal.
Oh, it looks like PG might have just been narrowly ahead of him. That'll be something interesting to watch here. That could be a big momentum shift here going into the fourth quarter. Because obviously a clear path foul would be 2 free throws and the ball. Does look like they just called a common foul, though, like I had assumed. 98-78 now as Barton puts in the first. 33 seconds left in the quarter here. An obvious 2-for-1 situation. For the Clippers, if they wanted, they'd have to go quickly, though. Barton puts in the second 19-point game. So, yeah, let us know down in the comments below if you think the Clippers or the Nuggets are going to be the better team this year. Got PG ISOing there, not going for the 2-for-1. Looks like they're going to hold for one good shot. And we got Hartenstein matched up on Paul George. Puts a little bit of a shake and bake move on. Kicks it out to the corner. Lou Williams falls to his left. Does not get it to go, however. Hartenstein secures the board.
8 seconds left in the quarter. Barton the spin. Barton the attack. Nice find. Hartenstein couldn't finish.
And that will do it for the third quarter here, 98-79. Clippers did not hit the century mark through 3, but will most definitely hit the century mark through 4. We'll be taking another short intermission here at the end of the quarter, and we'll catch you guys right at the start of the fourth. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys stick around. All right, and we are back here for the final frame here on Christmas Day. At this point, going into the fourth quarter, Paul George does have 21 points. Kawhi Leonard has 17, as well as 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Really a complete game from Kawhi Leonard. Paul George playing really well on the offensive end as well. Those are the 2 stars for the team. They've come through with 38 points through 3 quarters at this point, and have held a pretty substantial lead over the Denver Nuggets this entire game. Quite frankly, the Clippers came out, it looks like they came out for this season to kind of put an end to the talks about last year, really put in what is a lot of work. It looks like a lot of work in the offseason, figuring out their chemistry. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard look smooth together. Ty Lue looks like he's got this offense clicking, although I still don't love the triangle in there, but I think offensively his rotations are a little bit better in terms of minute-to-minute gameplay. Last year, we saw Kawhi Leonard finishing out a lot of third quarters. This year, now we see Paul George being the one finishing out third quarters. A pretty big adjustment. Gives Paul George a little bit more of an opportunity to play point guard, honestly, play with the ball in his hands a little more often. We're seeing less Lou Williams pick and rolls and more Lou Williams movement off the ball. That's something completely different from Doc Rivers' offense we saw last year as well. I just think, honestly, it's going to be a much improved Clippers team. We haven't even got to see a lot of Serge Ibaka tonight. He's been in foul trouble with 4 fouls. And, Luke Kennard's still kind of figuring out how his role is going to play in here too with the Los Angeles Clippers. But at this point now, we do have the Denver Nuggets getting an early bucket here to start the quarter. 98-81 is the score here. Paul George kicks to Ibaka. Ibaka is in at the start of the fourth quarter here, playing center. Paul George at the 4, Luke Kennard at the 3, Lou Williams at the 2, Reggie Jackson at the 1. Paul George takes a tough fadeaway, does not get it to go. Hartenstein at the 5 grabs the rebound, brought up by Monte Morris. Will Barton also on the floor, as well as PJ Dozier and Jamal Murray. A smaller lineup here for both teams, as we see both teams running at least 2 point guards at the moment. And now it's down to a 15-point game as PJ Dozier gets an easy layup. 98-83 is the score. Maybe the Nuggets can come back, make this one a little interesting. We're seeing a Lou Williams kick to Paul George. Reggie Jackson dribble handoff. And they're going into PG in the high post again. Double team, though. And he turns the ball over. Nuggets are on the run. 3-on-2 fast break. 5-on-2 fast break. PJ Dozier with an easy finish and a quick timeout here from the Clippers. 98-85, 13-point game. The Nuggets have come out soaring here at the start of the fourth quarter. They might just make this a game here. At this point, you're seeing a real emergence by the Nuggets. It kind of came out really, motivated. We saw Mike Malone make the adjustment to double Paul George out of the high post. Led to an instant turnover, an easy layup in transition, and a completely different looking product here to start the fourth quarter for the Denver Nuggets. It'll be interesting to watch here. If they can come back in this game, this would be something that could be really detrimental to the Clippers too. Obviously, last year in the playoffs, have blown 3 straight 10-plus points second half leads in their 3-1 series collapse to the Denver Nuggets. If they blew a double-digit lead here in the fourth quarter, that could be disastrous. The media will let them have it, understandably. I think that's something that the Clippers should be working their hardest to try and avoid. Would not be a good situation at all, looking at that for them. Let me know down in the comments below what team you guys are a fan of. If you haven't already, we have the Clippers Nuggets on. I am a Dallas Mavericks fan myself. For those of you who do not know or were not in the stream earlier, Paul George obviously still the leading scorer for the Clippers. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already as well. If you're watching this late, just getting a replay of the game here. Or if you are live, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any of our content. We'd love having you guys in the content right away. Leaving comments, letting us know what you think about the videos. Should be much improved microphone quality for you already at this point. Hopefully you guys have noticed that. And hopefully we'll be back here soon to the game. It did take a full time out here from the Clippers to get back online. Interesting situation. A little bit more to talk about Serge Ibaka's addition to the Los Angeles Clippers and also Luke Kennard's. I think Ibaka's the obvious one to me, the one that made the most sense coming into the offseason. You're looking at a team that needed to address their big man position. They needed to get a little bit more versatile. They needed a guy who could stretch the floor a little bit more for their 2 stars in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Ibaka does that, shot at 30.5% from 3 last year. Really, really high percentage for an NBA big man. And then, as well, he gives them a rim protector, something they didn't have consistently. Zubats is a little up and down in that area. Did not have a lot of depth behind Zubats as well. Harrell's not a consistent defender at the rim. And now you get Ibaka to come in and fill those roles, but also looking at the addition of Luke Kennard as the game comes back here. Kennard's going to give them a secondary, tertiary ball handler, a guy who can break down pick and rolls, break down his defender, still functions as a catch and shoot guy. Although he's not going to be a guy that runs off a lot of screens. We see Kawhi Leonard here in the mid-range game nail one over Will Barton immediately to start out of the timeout. And with 10.5 to play, it is a 15-point game. Clippers hit the century mark 100-85. Paul George here on Jamal Murray now. See Will Barton pick and roll. Gets to the rim. Ibaka with that block. There's the rim protection I was just talking about. Protects the rim. Wonderful defensive sequence for the Clippers. Went through a series of screens. Paul George fought through them. Kept pressure on the back end. And Will Barton went for a Euro step move there. Did not get it. Ibaka stayed up tall and strong. Gets the block and a turnover for the Denver Nuggets. We see Reggie Jackson here now bringing the ball up for the Clippers with just under 10 to play. Kawhi Leonard backing down into the mid-range area and again hits from the exact same spot, just over the right block. 102-85 is your score now here in Denver. 17-point lead again for the LA Clippers. Looks like Kawhi Leonard is doing everything he can to hold this game. Monte Morris answers, however, in the mid-range game himself. Wonderful crab dribble around Paul George. Reggie Jackson, rather, gets the shot up and back to a 15-point game. Merry Christmas to all those watching. Hope you guys had a very blessed Christmas season. Hope you guys got a lot of fun gifts for Christmas. Had a lot of fun time with loved ones. And a shot clock violation here for the Clippers turns it over to the Nuggets. Not the worst scenario, though. Clock is down to 9:06. You can afford to take some time in these possessions, run down some clock. That's exactly what they did there, even though didn't really get a quality shot. That's something you obviously hope to have at the end of a longer possession. But at the same time, if you run this game out, take care of the ball, that's exactly what you can do. You can win this game at the end of the quarter. That's what you have to do. Jamal Murray attacks here, pulls up for three, and nails it right in Ibaka's face. 12-point game here, 102-90. Clippers should be a little nervous here. Reggie Jackson still on the floor. I'm not sure why. He's been targeted now lately in the pick-and-roll game. We got Batum on the floor as well with Patrick Beverley, Serge Ibaka, and Kawhi Leonard. This is Paul George's scheduled rest time. Kawhi Leonard one-on-one here now on the wing with P.J. Dozier, gets a screen. Ibaka, little mid-range pull-up game, gets at 104-90. A huge play there. The combination of Kawhi Leonard and Serge Ibaka is huge there for the Los Angeles Clippers in maintaining momentum here. 14-point game again. They've been going all in on Kawhi Leonard here in the half court this game.
It was corrected now on our box scores to a 3 from Murray. 14-point Clipper lead, 8:18 to go on the fourth.
Barton attacking Reggie Jackson in the half court. Kicks it to Jokic. Brings it into a wheel for Murray. Murray, a wonderful post pivot and hits for two over Kawhi Leonard. 104-92 is your new score. 12-point game yet again. Reggie Jackson walks the ball up. Looks like they're trying to get it to Kawhi Leonard in the triangle here. Spacing a little whack, though, for the Clippers. Patrick Beverley, a good back cut from a pass from Ibaka, and he gets the two in the middle of the floor, 106-92, as we move closer to 7.5 minutes here left in the ball game. Jamal Murray, another pull-up three, and he gets it. 11-point game. Jamal Murray has turned it on this fourth quarter. Been instant offense for the Denver Nuggets. Pretty much just out of the pick and roll game, he's just been pulling up from three. Reggie Jackson been having issues. Patrick Beverley not getting the best contest at this point either. See Reggie Jackson go one-on-one with Monte Morris. Not sure if that's really what the Clippers drew up, but it is good for two. 13-point game yet again. Welcome to the stream, guys. If you haven't been in here already, if you are, welcome back. We'd love having you. And Jokic dials up a three. Does not. That's a ball fake, rather. And a wonderful Euro step from the big man. Gets two. 108-97 is the score. 11-point game. Let me turn up the game audio a little bit for you guys here down the stretch.
22 for Jokic, 20 now for Murray. Murray started this game 1 for 7 from the floor. He's hit 7 of his last 8.
Batum had been big this game. Misses there, though, on a wide open shot from the top of the key. 108-97, and the Nuggets have a shot to get it to single digits. Kawhi Leonard with a strip. That's his 4th steal of the game. Also has 1 block to go with it. 5 stocks for him at this point of the game, and timeout Clippers. And we will be taking a quick intermission here while there is a timeout. We will catch you guys on the flip side here.
11-point game with 6